They say love is blind, but for Choma, love wasn't just blind. It cost her everything. She gave her savings, her dreams, even her father's approval. But the betrayal that came back in return was served with icing on the very cake she designed for her own wedding. Choma was a beautiful young woman who studied biochemistry in school. After graduating, her father gave her money to pursue her master's degree abroad. But instead of using the money for herself, she gave it to her boyfriend of 10 years. She gave it to Collins. She believed he was her future husband. She told herself, if he succeeds, we succeed. Choma's father was furious. He couldn't understand her decision and stopped talking to her. He warned her, a man who keeps taking everything from you will keep taking until you have nothing left to give. But Choma didn't listen. 3 years later, Collins returned from the UK. At the airport, in front of travelers and family, he proposed with a beautiful gold ring with a turquoise gem. Turquoise was Collins' birthstone. Choma was overwhelmed. In her heart, it felt like all the waiting had paid off. Of course, she said yes and began preparing for the wedding of her dreams. Everything had to be perfect. She designed her own wedding cake, a stunning multi-tiered masterpiece with a turquoise theme. She saved the design in a special folder on her laptop alongside her other wedding inspirations. She designed her wedding dress herself and booked a consultation with her dream designer. Like most women, Choma had planned her dream wedding since she was a teenager, and to finally put it together was a dream come true. She shared all her ideas with Collins and he loved them. Choma was a respected wedding cake vendor known for her elegant designs. One day, a new client walked into her new shop, a classy lady with a gentle smile. She wanted a rush cake order for her wedding. Choma inquired about the wedding day and the lady mentioned it. Choma was surprised to know that it was a week before her own wedding. "Wow!" Choma exclaimed. "Your wedding is a week before mine." The lady was very delighted to know that Choma was also getting married. "Your ring looks gorgeous," the lady complimented Choma's engagement ring. "Wow, turquoise stone, beautiful," she said. Choma smiled proudly. "It's my fiancé's birthstone," she said. The lady paused. "That's strange. My fiancé's birthstone too is turquoise," she said, and held out her left hand for Choma to see her engagement ring, which was a silver ring with a turquoise diamond. The both laughed lightly, brushing it off as a coincidence. Just then, Choma's phone rang. It was Collins. She excused herself politely and told the lady, "My fiancé is calling. I'll let my assistant take your details." If only she had stayed, she would have heard something that would have changed everything. Later that evening, Choma sat with the note her assistant had taken. She glanced through the wedding details, the date, the venue, the theme. Suddenly, her eyes widened. The wedding was scheduled to hold at her dream reception venue, a location she had shared with Collins months ago. As she stared at the note, confused and shaken, her laptop chimed. It was an email from the new bride. Choma opened the message and froze. Attached was an image of the wedding cake the bride wanted. It wasn't similar to Choma's design. It wasn't inspired by it. It was the exact same picture. Same tears, Same turquoise details, same flavor notes. It was her dream cake, the one she had stored in her wedding folder, the one Collins had seen. Her heart sank, her chest tightened. Choma connected the dots. Too late. At the end of the mail was a link to a private website for friends and family to view the wedding gallery and drop beautiful messages. Choma looked at beautiful loved up pictures of her client and her man. It was Collins, her Collins. Tears clouded her vision as she looked at the pictures of their engagement at Paris, candid pictures of them during their vacations, and professionally taken pre-wedding pictures. There was no doubt in Choma's mind anymore. Collins was marrying another woman. It was clear to Choma that Collins wasn't hers. He had been using her. He had proposed at the airport to keep her blind just long enough. Now he was marrying someone else, using her ideas, her sacrifice and her love to impress another woman. Choma didn't cry. She didn't delete the email. She simply called her assistant and told her to handle the cake tasting. Then she sat in her office and waited. That afternoon, a sleek car pulled up. The lady stepped out, stunning and elegant as usual, and right behind her was Collins. Her Collins, smiling, holding hands with another woman, right there in front of her shop, one of the businesses she built while waiting for him. Her vision blurred, her heart cracked. She watched them through the CCTV feed from her office. Choma couldn't bring herself to confront him. Afraid of hearing the truth. She was afraid of waking up from her fantasy world of planning her dream wedding. Collins was his normal charming self. He was his normal lovey-dovey self. Looking at him, no one could guess that he was planning another wedding with another woman. Choma cried every night. While Choma baked Collins' wedding cake, she felt like screaming. She wanted to pour salt in the icing, but she didn't. Instead, she finished the cake perfectly, beautifully, as ordered, because she had a new plan. If you're enjoying the story, tap the like button. It helps YouTube recommend this video to more people. And if you love African folktales with a twist, hit the subscribe button. It's free. I have more stories like this on my channel. Now, back to the story. Collins was floating on a cloud. He thought he had eaten his cake and still had it on his plate. He had planned out everything. He was going to use Choma's money to finance his wedding with Emerald. As he stared at her while they tasted cakes, he couldn't believe his luck. Emerald was a citizen of the United States of America, so getting a green card after their wedding would be a breeze for him. The future of his unborn children would be assured when they were born in the US. Was he in love with Emerald? Hell no. He really didn't care about anyone but himself. After suffering poverty, he was ready to do anything to stop himself from ever going back. Hurting a few people on the way was a little price to pay. As for Choma, Collins had decided to get her pregnant as a parting gift. Everything had been going according to plan, but he was experiencing a little hitch. Choma was not giving him money. Choma's excuse was getting tiring for Collins. Sweetheart, I just opened another bakery. Just try and raise some money for the wedding preparations. I will pay you once my business picks up. Collins had to sell most of his properties and borrow money to sponsor his flamboyant wedding with Emerald. He had to pay for it himself because he didn't want Emerald's rich parents to see him as a wretch. But he knew it was going to be worth it. He was marrying a United States citizen, or so he thought. It was funny to Collins seeing how excited Choma was about her wedding to him. She had no idea that he would be leaving the country with Emerald after his wedding. It was easy taking the wedding cake design from her laptop. Finally, the D-Day had come. On the day of the wedding, Collins was so excited. Not out of love for Emerald, but happiness that his plan was coming to pass. Guests in lace, cameras flashing, Collins stood tall, completely clueless. After he had walked down the aisle, he waited for Emerald to come out, but she didn't. Collins began to sweat. He became scared. Something was wrong. Yes, something was wrong, and it was going to get even more wrong. An hour passed. The bride was missing. Murmurs spread. Was she scared? Had she run? Then the doors opened and there she was. Chioma, in a flawless white gown, face glowing, walking straight towards the altar with the wedding cake in her hands. Behind her, the real bride, in jeans and a plain top, holding a microphone. Collins staggered. What's going on? He asked. Choma stood before him with a dry smile on her lips. Emerald handed the mic to Choma. She raised the mic and said only one thing. This is the cake you asked for, but you don't deserve a sweet ending. She turned to Emerald, who collected the mic from her. Guests, thank you for coming. There will be no wedding today. We had to remove one final decoration, the groom. The crowd erupted. Collins collapsed. The cake was still served, not to celebrate love, but to honor women who refused to stay silent. Planning Collins' downfall had been easy and rewarding. Chioma had contacted the bride. Calmly, respectfully, she told her everything. She sent her screenshots, bank transfers, photos, even a handwritten letter Collins had sent before coming back into the country. Emerald was devastated, but she was no fool. Together, the two women made a plan that will leave a mark, not just on Collins, but on every guest. The hall erupted. There were gasps, whispering, phones clicking. Collins was carried out, still in shock. Choma was not done with him. Choma was planning on suing Collins for breaking the promise to marry her, and extortion under false pretenses. Emerald, who was a seasoned barrister, had decided to represent Choma. His downfall was Emerald's revenge. Hearing what he did to Choma had pissed Emerald off even more than his deception in their relationship. Making Collins pay had been satisfying for Choma, but she still had to get therapy for all the pain his deception had caused her. She found peace, power, and pride within herself. She reconnected with her father. He wept and held her for the first time in years. You didn't lose, he said. You found yourself. Years after, Choma found love again. In Kelechi's arms, a young man who loved the very ground Choma walked on. When someone feeds you lies, don't beg to eat. Bake your own truth and serve it to them cold. If you enjoyed this story, I am sure you're going to enjoy this playlist on your screen. Click to watch more intriguing African tales from me. See you there.